Hi, I'm Chris and we are JCD. In this week's episode, we've got another fantastic podcast guest down at JCD HQ. I find myself dealing with some legal issues and we revisit a recent warehouse clean with a view of discussing some more ongoing work. Let's roll the footage. Good morning, YouTube. It is Monday morning and welcome back to another episode of We Are JCD. I am down at HQ. Adam is here with me. We have a podcast this morning. We have a guest, Lewis Biriani, who is a colleague and friend of mine actually, runs ETT Recruitment. We're going to be talking all things recruitment in a wide range of industries on the Cleaning Up Business podcast. For those of you that haven't already been on our other YouTube channel or on your favourite podcast platform, search Cleaning Up Business podcast and make sure you head over and have a look at that. As you guys can see, I've had an injury, but I'll explain that to you guys a little bit later. So we're just waiting for Lewis. He's going to be about 5 minutes and then we're going to get started and film our podcast. For the rest of the day, I am down at JCD HQ. There is not much going on. We have a big walk round at one of our customers' sites today, so I'm going to be staying nice and local and I will pop over there a little bit later on. We had the team working over the weekend to make sure it was spick and span. Drainage guy, Mitchell, is out and about. He's got a couple of jobs to do. Nothing too crazy today unless anything else comes in, but he's doing what he's got to do. So I know he's got a survey to do this morning and then he's got another one to do with some jetting after that. So yeah, it's all good. So we'll wait for our podcast guest and then we'll get going. What's happening, guys? It is now the afternoon. So I had a little bit of a story to tell you guys. Over the weekend, I actually had an accident at home and I hurt my finger. Nearly took the top of it completely off, which resulted in Saturday morning me having a trip to the A&E. But anyway, just after I'd done the podcast with Louis, which was ultra interesting, some really good points. There's always a good couple of takeaways in every episode we do. So as I mentioned earlier, if you haven't already, make sure you head over to the Cleaning Up Business podcast on all your favourite podcast platforms and on YouTube. So I've done that and then I took a phone call from the hospital saying that they wanted to see me again because a consultant had reviewed my case from the weekend and he wasn't happy with one of the x-rays. So I've actually spent the afternoon up at Medway Hospital, which is our local hospital to where I am. Back up there, they've re-cleaned it all, x-rayed it all again, and then they gave me some strong antibiotics. But I went up there, I was up there for 2-3 hours again, to be honest. No, they were just telling me someone's ready to go back there. I'm working at home the rest of the afternoon. Say, super interesting podcast today. Tomorrow I've got a few bits of drainage on with Mitchell. He's been super busy today, which is good. He's got a little bit more of a quiet day tomorrow, only 3 jobs at the moment, but we know how quick that can change. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, he's actually out on a site all 3 days, just doing some jetting and some camera work for a regular construction customer of ours. So I was a little bit panicked with that to make sure that he was keeping busy, but that seems to be the case, which is good news. So yeah, I'm going to go home, catch up on some work, and then in the morning I'm going to meet Mitchell at a drainage site and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Welcome to Tuesday morning of this week's episode, We Are JCD. It's nice and early, I've just jumped up. I am going to meet Mitchell at a job. The reason is it's on the way to the office. I know the lie of the land of this particular job. It's a public convenience, so it blocks up quite regularly because people put all sorts in public conveniences for some particular reason. So I'm going to quickly nip and meet him there, show him the lie of the land. Then I've got to get down the office, got a performance review with one of our managers. And then, yeah, we'll see where the day takes us. So let's jump in and get down to Rainham in Kent.
Many hours later.
So nice long day down at JCD HQ. As I mentioned to you guys, at the moment, obviously where Mitchell is now finding his feet, I'm going to be spending a lot more time, especially the next couple of weeks, or especially this week, doing some office work that I need to catch up on. There's always some strategic bits and pieces that need to be done, and I've been neglecting them because, as I say, I've been working more operationally than I would have liked, to be fair. So I've got some real strategic bits and pieces that I need to do about time and attendance, getting our help desk all fully mobilised and bits and pieces like that that are just going to take up a little bit more office time at the moment. So tomorrow, which is Wednesday, Mitchell is he's got his first day on a site. He's there all day. It's a construction company we work for, so he's just going to be jetting out and cameraing lines literally for the next 3 days. And that's the type of work, to be honest with you, I like to do. The reactive stuff's okay, but you can't rely on it. Obviously, it's reactive at the end of the day by its very nature. Whereas if I can book someone out for a day, on a construction site, at least I know what's going on, I know what they're doing, I haven't got to worry about if there's bits and pieces they can do. So Mitchell's got 3 days there. The team, we've just had a big walk around at one of our sites, had a meeting with the management team of that site today just to make sure we know what we're doing moving forward. Everything seems to be going as it should. The lads tomorrow have got a big construction clean of 2 plots that you see me at last week. And then on Thursday, I've got a couple of meetings out on some client sites. One is the big warehouse we just cleaned, we done in Rainham, Essex. They want to talk to us about doing some more periodic work there. So yeah, it's all go. It's settled at the moment. I'm a bit conscious, obviously, of content because I'm not going to be out and about that much. I've got some stuff that I really need to focus on and put my mind to and just make sure that that's all boxed off, and then we can get out and about. I've got some bits and pieces coming up with some suppliers, which I'll keep under our hat at the moment. We're just finalising the last details of that. And then at the end of May, we're going to be doing a road trip. Me and Adam are going to be spending 3 days away. We're going to be going seeing some of our colleagues that we want to have on the podcast and we want to go and visit again that are a little bit further afield up north, and we're going to stay away. So yeah, it's all go at the moment. So I've just got back home. I'm going to jump indoors. I'm going to carry on with some of that paperwork, and then I will catch up with you guys in the morning. What's happening, team? Wednesday. I've had a bit of a rough morning, if I'm honest. I had a call. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm not going to be filming much today because, to be honest with you, I've got the ump. I had a call from Solicitor of a contract that's helping us on a contract. Now, this particular contract is one of our larger contracts, top 5, public facing. And in 2019, a lady tripped over a loose or a slightly risen paving slab. Now, I know you're probably saying the same thing as me. What does that have to do with cleaning, Chris? Well, the answer, my friend, is nothing. But this particular contract, as part of an added value service, when we do our daily cleaning check sheets, the cleaning staff, I encourage them to report any maintenance issues for the customer, because they don't actually have a presence on site. They have a maintenance, like they have maintenance contractors, which is not us. But obviously, if my guys see something unsafe as they're walking around the building, I would expect them to report it. So a long story short, the customer has now become expectant, even though it's not in our contract in any shape or form, that we will report maintenance issues on site. And because we've been on this particular contract for some time, and we do a weekly check sheet there, where if we see something, we'll report it, because obviously if a glass pane is hanging out a window and it falls on someone, that's on my conscience if I don't report it. So we do that. Well, anyway, the customer has said, well, that JCD have been doing it so long that it's become the norm. And that's how we manage our maintenance on this particular site. Because obviously that particular loose paving slab, it wasn't reported by us, wasn't picked up by us. And the customer is saying, well, it's not our fault, it's JCD's fault. And legally, apparently it is. Go figure. So it just shows added value, or what you perceive as added value. If you're doing it so long, it becomes expected. And sometimes, in some cases, it could possibly become part of your contract without you even knowing it. It's actually the same with employees. If you've got an employee that you employ to do job A and they do job B, but they've been doing job B for 2+ years, or it's become regular, it actually, without even a written contract, my understanding is it becomes part of their terms and conditions. This is causing me real stress. We've got some emails and check sheets going back, but yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a tough one. So we're negotiating with the solicitor on that one. But a little bit of a Wednesday lesson for you guys, and a Wednesday headache for me. That's going to wrap up today, guys. I'm not going to be filming anymore. I've got the children still. I'm going to go and pick them up from school because the wife is away. And then, yeah, we'll see what Thursday brings. Every day is a school day. Good morning, team. It's Thursday morning. As you can see, I am at Guilfoyle HQ. My wife actually went away yesterday. She's gone away with her friend to Turkey, actually. So they've gone out there. Not for pleasure, actually. It's actually a work-related trip. So they're out in Turkey at the moment, so I'm actually at home, which is not usually a problem because obviously my 3 children are at school, but actually in the UK at the moment the children teachers are on strike. So I have 2 out of 3 at home today, so I'm going to be working at home for the rest of the day. I was meant to have an appointment which I've moved to tomorrow because they're all back in school tomorrow, so that will free me up a little bit more. I am going to the big warehouse clean we done last week. I am going there to meet the commercial manager about doing some ongoing work there, so I'll take you guys along with that. What have I really been doing this last week? I'll give you guys a little bit more detail. So we are implementing a new help desk system for our customers. At the moment, what they'll do, they'll contact their relevant area manager for any complaints, any issues, anything they need, any support, ad hoc tasks and all that good stuff. They'll contact their manager. What we're trying to do is sort of centralise that so that if they want to send something in that they need, quickly, they can send it into a help desk or, whatever, and that will be picked up straight away, as soon as it lands. So that's going to be a good plus for all of our customers. We're also putting in a clocking in and out system for all our staff. We've been managing our staff with timesheets, and to be honest with you, it's a little bit difficult to manage as we get bigger. So we're going to be moving, and we have moved on some sites to a clocking in and out solution across our portfolio, so we continue to roll that out. I've also got, I mentioned before, all the contract increases because the national minimum wage has just gone up in the UK, and then in turn that will increase some of our contracts. So on an annual basis, I review them. The reason we do it that way, some customers have asked this, especially like where we've got 3-year terms. You never know what it's going to go up. So rather than me guesstimating, which could and more than likely would leave the customer out of pocket, because as a business owner you're more likely to overestimate than you are to underestimate. So rather than overestimate, at least if we know what the increase is, 5%, just say, I can put only 5% on, whereas if I'd guessed it's going to be 7% every year, I would have been out of pocket actually the last couple of years. But if I guess that, I'm going to have a tendency to over-egg it. So that's why we do it like that. And some customers, they don't care and they say, no, I want a fixed guess, which is fine, and we'll do that. So I've got to get through that as well. As I say, this couple of weeks has been a bit of a weird one. We're in a bit of a transition, and there are many transitions that you go through during business, and this is one of them because obviously we've just taken on our first drainage employee, Mitchell, so that's causing, after doing back in the operation so long, it's sort of trying to get back into the swing of things. But it's been a productive week so far. I know it's probably not been the best in terms of content, but again, like I say, I've documented the journey. This is like a diary to me, so it's going to have its high excitement points, and maybe it's going to have points where it's just business as usual, which is probably the phase we're in. But as I say, I've got a walk around to do tomorrow. The guys finished up the clean at 2 properties yesterday. Adam put a picture up here of the properties. I'll send them to you. They finished 2 cleans. We have 4 cleaners on this site, 2 in each property. Nice builds actually, to be fair. So they're all done, and we'll be back to them in a couple of weeks to do a pre-occupancy clean. We have got a clean going on this weekend. We've got a high-level clean. We've got a vacuum off some units. They're like aircon units that run through this very long warehouse. So I'll get some pictures for you guys on that. I can't be there because, as I say, I've got the children. So yeah, another day of admin. Let's go. What's happening, team? Friday morning, we are over in Rainham, Essex. I have eventually got out the office and off the laptop for a change this week. As I say, it's been a bit of a week where I've just been catching up on everything. I am out and about today. I've got a job to look at, then I've got to head down to Folkestone. This particular job that I'm at, we done a large clean here last week for an audit that they had. The guy that works here has asked me to come back and asked if we could get something in more regular. So I've just quickly come up to see him, say hello, have a wander around, and then we're going to head down to Folkestone, where I've got to look at another job down there. So let's jump out of the car, go and say hello, and see what we can do with this one longer term. had a wander around with the manager of this particular site. I would say the project we done there was a little bit last minute, to be honest. So we've done what we can, but they want some prices to do some more periodic work there. So we're going to give them a price to do some of the high level, clean down some of the machines and any other bits and pieces that we've seen while we're walking around. So I'll put that together. So I'm just going to head back now. I'm just driving off this road. I'm going to get back down to Folkestone. I've got to have a quick look at a job down there, and I've got to have a meeting with a site manager down at one of our sites in Dover. So we're going to head back down to Kent and go and see what's going on back in the county of Kent. Just got back down to Kent. A nice little job that we just went and looked at in Rainham, Essex. I know one of the guys that actually works there, purely coincidence actually, which is nice. So we've got a little bit of an in there. So what I'll do, I'll put some recommendations down. I've just quickly come down to HQ. As you can see behind me, the tanker has got to go in for a service. Obviously it's been working hard because we've been down a drainage van before we got our new one. Luckily, the place that it goes to is literally at the end of the road, and we do the cleaning there. So yeah, bit of reciprocal business there. So I'm going to run the tanker down there, and then we're going to head down to Folkestone. Just dropped the tanker off, running a little bit late to be honest. Meant to be dropped off this morning, but it is what it is. So I just dropped it off there. I'll have that done today. I'll probably pick it up next week. It's actually a bank holiday again. Seems to be going through a bit of a run of bank holidays at the moment, which is nice, but it just throws everything off, to be fair. So yeah, drop that off. I'm just going to run down to catch up with Don, one of our other directors, down in Folkestone now. And then yeah, wife's still away, so obviously I'm being a dad as well, which is another job that I have that I don't go on about too much on the channel. Yeah, what else is there to report? We've got a job going on the weekend, warehouse clean. We've got to clean what they call the socks. They're basically big inflatable balloons that help collect dust, ironically. So they need vacuuming off, so we've got a team going down there this weekend to do that. That's in Ashford, which is just down the road from us, so not too far. Plenty going on at the moment, which is good. So I'm going to take a short walk back, and then we'll head down to Dover. All over the place today. Been down to Folkestone, had a catch up with Don, one of our directors. I had a bit of an issue at this particular site, but I'll tell you about that story another day. I'm not going to tell you about it today because it's still ongoing. I had an actually issue with a pump down there as well, which had failed, so I managed to reverse that and reset it and get it back running without the need to having to pull the pump up, which was good. So that's all back to normal. I was going to go and pick the kids up, but I've had a call, and I'm in that area, about a toilet flush not working. A site that we look after in Maidstone. So I'm just going to quickly pop in here, have a look, see if I can get that going, or if not, what repair it needs. So yeah, just got down here, and then I'm going to pick up the children and do my daddy day duties. So yeah, just got to this one. Let's go and see what's happening. Oh mate, I've come to have a look at your toilet flush that's broke. Shall I come up? Just like that, that one was done, nice and quick. The actual flush had just come off. There was like a hook that goes round the flush, but when you pull it up, it effectively pulls the lever up, come loose basically. The guy's not able-bodied there, to be fair, so quick fix, didn't need any parts, which is good, and I managed to fix it on the spot, so that's always a win. I'm gonna run and pick the children up from school, do the school run, pick all three of them up, and then I'll have a catch up with you guys a little bit later at Guildford HQ. Back in the car we go. And just like that, I am heading back to pick up the children. I know the last couple of weeks I found myself a little bit of a catch-22 in what I'm doing, but next week we've got a full plan and we should be back to the full schedule of content. Me and Adam have got some standalone videos that we're going to be looking to do, and we should get back to some normality. I'm saying hopefully we'll be able to put out a few more standalone videos now that I am free of the shackles of our second business, grey water drainage. So yeah, an interesting week, lots of catching up, but as I say, we're back to normal schedule next week, which has always been the plan. It's just that in-between period that you've caught us in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, thank you for bearing with me. As always, I appreciate you guys. That wraps up Friday and this week's episode of We Are JCD. Next week is actually a bank holiday in the UK. I might film Monday. I'll see what's going on. But regardless, make sure you guys have a good bank holiday weekend, a safe one. Hit that like and subscribe button for us. As always, if you haven't already, head over to your favourite podcast platform. Search Cleaning Up Business. This week's episode that come out was with Gabriel as our most viewed episode. That was a really good conversation. So that's a testament to the chat that we had. So make sure you head over to the Cleaning Up Business podcast on YouTube and all your favourite podcast platforms. Subscribe, leave us a review and give us any feedback. Don't be too harsh with us. But that wraps up this week's We Are JCD, guys. I appreciate you. Have a good weekend. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we're back to our normal schedule next week.